Welcome to the road to Grand Centurion. This week, we're going to be going through scaling and return on investment. So we're going to be talking about your time and how to leverage money and how to scale that in your business. The next session is going to be hiring great people. In order to get to that super producer level, top producer level, you're going to need help along the way, and getting the right people in place is super important. The fifth session is the need to feed. So now you've got that going, is like, how do you feed the people you're bringing on to help you in your business and to continuously have a funnel of leads coming in. So, and I know leads is a big topic in our business. So we're going to focus on what to do with leads and what type of leads you're looking for. And then putting it all together and just saying, okay, here's some opportunities, take all the information we've gone over, put it on paper, and then execute and make sure that you're really tightened up. So grab your gym buddy for Thursdays. We meet with the fellow agents on Thursdays, and we're going to do that every Thursday when we do have a session. And that helps implement those strategies, tools presented in the series. We're going to have our managers facilitate those sessions with you and just talk about what the content is, and of course, accountability measures as well. Now, where does your road start? We talked about the master's level, 114.5. That's sort of where we're saying at this point in time, you need to be on this course. I know there are people that are either new to the business or reviewing these sessions to see what it's like in terms of the content and where you're going to be heading in the future. But really, we start saying you have a successful career at 114.5, and you can continuously put in systems so that you're consistently making that every year. We are going to talk a lot about the Centurion level this week. We're on the third session, and I think it's good to sort of follow this road along the way. At 320, you're a Centurion award winner. And then getting into the double Centurion and Grand Centurion, you're going to need a lot more help. And that's why next session is going to be, if you're going to be at the 640 level, you need help. Bottom line is we have a lot of things you can leverage to get to 640 without an assistant, to be honest with you. And we have agents doing that. But as soon as you're at that level, it's like, okay, it's getting pretty hairy now. And we need to get some help in here in order to really propel either your income and or have a better quality of life, because at 640, I don't know how you are going to have a balanced life without that type of help. So to this week, we're talking scaling and return on investment. So it's about using your time wisely and your money calculated. So how do you calculate the amount that you spend monetary and look to get a higher return on investment by scaling that business? So first thing I like to do with anyone doing good production is look at what is your value of time. So breaking down what your annual income is, it could be projected, it could be what you did last year, but really you should be projecting an amount this year based on your business plan. So we're going to take that Centurion level we talked about before at 320,000. Let's say you work 46 weeks a year, so you're taking 6 weeks off for holiday. Fine, great. If you want to make it 48 and take 4 weeks off, that's fine too. But decide on how much you're going to work this year. And I think in this business, you should be able to take off 6 weeks on holiday. If you're only taking 5 or 4, just calculate that in. 40 hours per week. And we all know when you're at 320, you're probably working more than 40 hours per week, but hopefully you can put in systems to have a balanced life and just have it at 40, 44 hours per week. And then you're going to find out by dividing that out, 320 by 46 by 40, and it's going to come up to $174 per hour. That's what your time is worth. Okay. Now, when you do a business plan, when you're looking at anything in business that you're putting systems and automating, you have to remember that number. So write it down, whatever that number is. If you're making half that, divide it in half, that's what you're making. You're still making 85 bucks an hour if you're doing half as much production. And if you're at 640, of course, you're paying yourself double the amount. So find out what your number is, okay? Because when you make a decision on whether or not you're going to go and hand out flyers or do some admin work this morning and deficiencies and all this sort of stuff, realize that that's what it's costing you, okay? By the way, the value of your time when it comes to your personal life doesn't have a dollar, Okay, it's the highest value. You can't put a dollar figure to your balance of your family, your kids. There is no value to that because, well, there's huge value. It's infinite value. You have to have that in place first, right? You need to decide what days you're taking your kids out, your wife, your husband, what time you have for yourself, for your hobbies. That's invaluable. Okay, there is no dollar to that. So let's do a cost analysis just to start to put this into place. When you're doing your business plan, you're going to look at certain things that you do and that you're doing yourself. And then you're going to find out what you pay yourself. And then you're going to look at what you would pay someone else. Okay, so to leverage your time, you need to know your cost analysis of what your value is and then what you're spending money on doing administrative work. Okay, so for example, 100 newsletters, right? Your production for those newsletters, $50 for print, $100 to mail is $150 for production. You're going to spend 4 hours doing it, and it's going to cost you 4 hours times $174. So it's going to cost you $800. It's actually along with the 150, just so I added those together. $846 is the total cost of 100 newsletters done monthly. So if you're doing your 100 newsletters yourself, that's the cost that you're paying. If you were to have an admin do it, you would spend the $150 on production, and you would be paying your admin the 4 hours times $20 an hour is $230. Great savings. Have your admin do it. Great, no problem. But if you took a third party, and let's say $1.50 per flyer, which is production plus shipping plus design and everything, it actually is only cost you $160. So this is why we push our newsletter program. We don't do it because it's the best newsletter you can ever produce, because we know you can put local content. We know you can put your own flair to it and everything. But what's going to happen is it's very inefficient. If you're doing it yourself, it costs you $846 every month. If you're doing it through, for example, the Spotlight Marketing Program, it is $160 per month. And to be honest with you, 80 to 85% of the people that get that newsletter are going to throw it out anyway. And it's not because it's not good value. The value is in them seeing your name on a piece of good mailer every month. Some open it, some don't. Don't worry about it. It's an automated system, and we'll get into that in a minute. So going into 800 door hangers, I did this with one of our agents a few years back. She was hanging door hangers in Bradford, and it cost her $150 for those 800 door hangers. And she spent 8 hours to hang 800 doors, right? She did it 2 different days. She handed out for the month. She was paying herself $1,566 in order to do those door hangers. She was not knocking on the doors. She was not putting herself face to face. She was essentially just going out. And if it's her gym, like if that's her idea of getting exercise and she loves it, okay, fine. You make that decision. But this is what it's costing her to do. To have somebody do that for her, even at $20, and I'm sure you could get it probably cheaper if you're, paying a high school or younger kid to go do it for you, but $330 for either your admin to do it and or I say third party because yes, you could pay somebody to just do it. Maybe the admin isn't doing it for you; they're doing the production, but the person's going out and doing and or you're paying a company to do it. Okay, I do have a question, Andy. Go ahead.
Hi, Aaron, I didn't mean to raise my hand, but I was thinking about something that you just said, and I guess the reciprocal value of doing something that yourself, although it doesn't make sense from a monetary perspective, if you have a half a dozen conversations with people in the community, or if you overlap some of that personal time in terms of exercise. But sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand.
No, that's okay. Yeah. And it's a good point, Andy. I mean, you have to look at time. Keep in mind, when you've made nothing in this industry, $0, and you don't have any budget in the coffers, right? And you're going out door knocking, it's actually cheaper for you because you're paying yourself $0 an hour because you haven't made any money. But I'm not saying that you shouldn't budget yourself to make money. I get that. But sometimes we make the decision to say, hey, listen, right now, I've got no money coming in. So I'm going to go out and I am going to do things, but I'm going to suggest in the future slides coming up that there are more productive things in order to put yourself in front of more people. Hanging door hangers is not where I would start. Okay. But you have to analyze it. So client service calls. So this is people that you're doing 320. So you have listings and you have service calls to make and thank people for their and look for feedback on showings, as well as, just follow up and all this sort of stuff. You're going to, let's say, budget yourself for 10 hours a week in order to do some of those client service calls. 10 hours, I think I did that monthly, actually. So yeah, it was monthly, 10 hours a month to do your client service calls. So you're going to pay yourself $17.60, right? In order to do that, that's what your time's worth. You're going to spend $200 in a min, because $20 times 10 hours, they're going to do the follow-ups. Now, would you be making better calls because you're doing it yourself? Yes, but you have to leverage your time to do the highest productivity. If these clients are getting phone calls to thank them and let them know that, MoveSnap is going to be sent out to them, and it's just client service calls because you've already sold a listing and or you're providing feedback, it can be done very effectively through an assistant. In fact, your clients will respect your time more when your assistant is making those phone calls, and they'll love the system. They get the information and they know you're busy. So that's okay. So this is where we're going to start to look at your processes and making sure that you're paying $200 an hour instead of paying $1,700 an hour, because you're worth more than the time it would take in order to do these items. So go through all the jobs and items that you have. It could be automated. It could be things that cost you very little time, and you will actually just go ahead and push the button on MoveSnap or push the button on Spotlight marketing program, that sort of stuff, because it is cheaper to have them do it than for you to do it. Anyone who is not using a service like on a listing service, for example, the Spotlight marketing program, to do that, think about all the automation and all the different things in terms of building websites and getting it out on social and third-party sites, and trying to get the SEO to be on the top page and all the sort of things that program does for you. And it costs you $200 if you were to do it yourself. You would be spending upwards of $1,700 to $2,000 in order to do that. So you've got to look at those sort of things. So whether or not, or when you're considering whether to do a task yourself, pay someone else to do it, it's important to do the cost analysis. And it does look at the materials, the labor, the time that you would need to do in order to complete the task. So let's talk about the automated systems that we have. Okay, everything you see here, pretty sure everything you see here are things that we promote all the time. And the reason why we promote these things is because in order for you to have all these automated systems, we had it about $100 or $800 to $1,000 a month in order to have these. Now it's actually worth more than that, because if you did a cost analysis on all these things, you'd be saving yourself thousands of dollars. These automated systems, such as the newsletter program, for example, where you're saving $1,500 a month just by, was it? No, it wasn't 15. It was $800 a month just in the newsletter system, because your time is worth more money. The CRM system for just nurturing and these little drips that are happening. The Spotlight listings, we talked about that. Things such as admin services, like doing up your offer and preparing, amendments or different paperwork through virtual offers. Back at You Media is the social media solution that you guys have just for automated posts. It's our engine that keeps running. You can also use Back at You Media to automate your own customized content, as well as boosting posts for social for lead gen, such as home evaluations. So that's your full automated solution for lead gen as well. And then testimonial tree for testimonials. It's just something that's always there, always promoting yourself. MoveSnap, which is a full client service in between firming up and closing for your client. And again, we do that for you. If you want to go in and make sure that it's being sent, or you have that conversation and send out the invite, you can do it yourself, but we automate it for you. Remarketer open houses is a good one. I used to spend about $30 to $40 American on Open Home Pro in the past, which was exactly what Remarketer does for open houses. It comes up with a sign-in screen and a CRM that logs the people that go through your open house and then drips after. So that's automated. The farming flyer program through Spotlight, right? So we have a farming program that you just pay a certain per house, 35 cents per house, for example. It goes out every single month and or twice a month. The Google Calendar is another service that we provide. And I know you have that, the full suite. And I put Google there because there's a full suite of stuff in Google to help communicate and hold yourself accountable. This is going to be one I'm going to bring up in a minute, but that's a good one for organization. Broker Bay. Some of you are just using Broker Bay to get announcements and sort of see what's happening in the brokerage for exclusive listings and stuff. But if you go into Broker Bay, you can also do things within Broker Bay for your listings that's automated. For example, when somebody registers an offer, you can have your whole offer process in there, and it sends out the rules of the offer, all your feedback and showings, all your automation to let your sellers know what the action on their listings and showings and their statistics in there. So it's a good one. Just listed and just sold cards. Again, when I had a team, I had the Spotlight listing program combined with the just listed sold cards. So every time I did a listing, I'd have everything done through Spotlight and then automation. So when you do get the listing, it just says, would you like 250 flyers go to the area surrounding your listing? It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. And you just say, yes, I would. And it's done for you, right? That's something you would pay an admin a lot more to do for you, as well as just sold cards. So these are all automated system that helps drive business, get referrals, and you need to put these systems in place. So it frees yourself up. Okay. And if you tried to do every single thing here yourself, which I see people doing, I would say it takes up half your time. Half your time's worth $150,000. Like, it's just crazy the value here. You have to implement it. You have to use it. And if it takes this year to get 4 or 5 of them going, next year to get the next 5 going, and just put it into an automated system, you have to start to automate your systems. I always say get an admin. I said an admin will double your income. But I'll be honest, when I was doing business, this stuff was the things I was using and automating. So I actually didn't need an admin until I got to the point at a certain point where not only am I automating all the systems, but now I need somebody to look after my paperwork and things that can't be done through an automated system. And then I'll scale again. So the first scale at 320 should be automated systems. It'll get you 640. And now you're at 640. Then we'll talk about hiring. And that's why next session is going to be about hiring, because you're at the 640 level, your automated systems are in place. It made you an extra 300,000, and now you're going to need more help, right? You've as much automation as you want, you're going to need somebody to do the admin work that you should not be touching paperwork other than, sign here, really, at that 640 level. Okay. Let's look at time wasters. Again, leveraging time in order to make more money. So time wasters, unqualified buyers. I think everyone would agree with that one. People that are out there showing houses to people, and they've shown 24, 48, 100 homes, I've heard in the past, over a year period. It's because your buyer wasn't ready. They weren't qualified. They weren't educated. They have something that they have to get. When you talk about getting a buyer off the fence, okay, these are the reasons why you need to do a buyer presentation, get a commitment. Okay. If they're not willing to commit to you, why are you committing to them? You're committing your time, and it's costing you $174 an hour of your time to go out and show houses. They better buy, right? They better be ready to buy. And we're all about relationships. Don't get me wrong, right? We want to build relationships and make sure people are happy. But at a certain point in time, your time is really valuable. So how do you provide more service, better service, and spend less time? And it's all in the way you present it. It's all in the way you qualify it and get that commitment up front. So qualified buyers, big one. Paperwork, we just talked about that. As soon as you scale up with your automated systems to the 640, paperwork will become an issue. And it's probably already starting to be an issue. Some people take on an assistant right at 300,000, and that's okay too. Depends how much you want to scale up. An assistant's going to cost you 40,000 a year, maybe 50,000 a year. And you want to make sure that you do double your income. So have your assistant look after all your pieces of paperwork, your presentations, your preparation, your showing feedback, all your marketing, all your automated systems, make sure that they're flowing. And then that will obviously leverage you to be able to do more with your time. Next one is social media. And social media can be very effective. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying social media isn't effective. I think you need to have a good social media strategy. Okay. So that's what you need that strategic plan. And you need to make sure that you're only booking yourself a certain amount of time into social media. And when you're on social media, if it's not building relationships, it's crazy. Everything that we do to automate and make sure people see you and stuff like that, that's okay. It's good to be, but if you're on social media, the commenting, the participating, the direct messages, the DMs, they call it, the DMs, the direct messages to people that that you've identified as being a potential either C client, C contact, or B, having a conversation and wishing them a happy birthday, or asking or participating or congratulating them in different things and commenting on their posts. Groups are great on social media. So joining groups, but commenting and then DMing people for specific reasons to build relationships, but you're only doing that a certain percentage of every day. And you need to decide, is it an hour of every day that you're going to dedicate to social media? Because I guarantee you, some of you are at 5 hours a day on social media and you're not specifically doing things that you're just scrolling through and having fun with it. You should be interacting and building out C's, making them B's and then A's. So make sure that you have a strategy, but it can be a rabbit hole. Okay. Negativity. This is bigger than you think. How many of you today are thinking, oh, God, what do I do? I've got to, the market's down. I'm down. My whole energy's down. And it's probably because you're letting others bring you down. Okay. Don't let others do that. Stay positive and surround yourself with the ones that are excited and wanting to get out there and prospect and do things right. Okay. So when we sit on Thursdays with our group, our networking group, and our managers, let's talk about the positive things that are happening in the market and ways to leverage that and creative ideas and have fun with it. The negativity, and it's that mental health thing that we really need to focus on. So find out what's a big negative influence on you right now and find a way of getting out of that unfortunate negativity that you have to put off to the side and maybe disconnect from and look to do things. Just something as simple as maybe even getting a gym membership. So I've actually got some discounts I'm going to be bringing up at the town hall this month for Good Life Fitness, for example, so we can all start getting healthy and getting out there, because that can really get the energy flowing. The last one is disruptions, things that disrupt you. How do you create routines, time block, which we're going to get into next, and then just stuff to keep you on task, right? So whether or not social media is a disruption, whether or not it's a home office and things at home that are becoming disruptions, maybe it's somebody specifically is disrupting your routines. You need to look at those disruption items and make a decision as how you're going to get through that and put in positive systems in place and get those routines going. And you will double your income, right? If you can double your time, right? So if you double your time, what are the things that you're going to focus on? Okay. And I think this is, I'll just see if there we go. Productive time. These are the things that if you focus on, these are the non-negotiables you got to do yourself. If you focus on these things over the next 2 months, you will 100% do more business this year. Okay. The problem is whether it's negativity or disruptions or things that you're doing currently, and you're not doing these, that's taking you away from your productive time, which you are going to double your income. So top 10, I just threw those on. I think these are top 10. You can feel free to add and suggest others, but I love pop buys. I think that they're the best way to get in front of somebody by giving them value and talking about real estate. I think it's a great opportunity in order to create C's into B's and B's into A's. Okay. So you should be doing, I keep saying 2 a year. I mean, it should be 4, 6 times a year going out and handing out something to people face to face. You cannot understand the importance of that. It's so important. Phone calls. Okay. If somebody was going to come up to me today and say, what can I do today? I'd say, what can you pop buys? Second thing, make your calls. Call 100 people today on your sphere of influence, touch base, let them know that you're getting ready for the spring market, looking for any of the people listing so you can get them all set up and ready. But you're going to have different conversations with your B's than you would your A's and of course, your C's. So starting with A's is most important, your pop buys and stuff. B's as important, as also as important. And then C's, contacting the C's that are maybe People that know you but you haven't quite got them to give you business yet, of course, make those phone calls, right? Number 3, network groups. Great ideas out there. Throw it amongst yourselves on Thursday to decide what is a good network group. You can create your own network group by just, let's do breakfast meetings at 7 o'clock, Bagel World every Thursday. Invite out a lawyer, a financial advisor, an accountant, a stager, a home inspector. Invite all them out. Car mechanic. It doesn't matter. Invite out a network, a group that have people in certain positions that are influencers, and then chat amongst yourselves about whatever, but you're looking, and make sure you let them know you're looking to share contacts and business. You can leverage their contact lists to give you business by having them refer you, right? So network groups, open houses done right. I say done right. Pam will tell you, most people don't do it right? People show up, they're quickly put out. Oh, I got to get there. I got to put 2 signs, go there. I hope nobody comes today because I really got to get some work done. And it's, you get that mentality. But if you do it right, you prepare, the area, you've done your research, you invite people out by door knocking, you put your signs out, you give out TIM cards, the signs at the corner, you host the open house, you know everything about the area, you convert to show a property that just came up on the market at 4:30, then you follow up, you've got everybody in open home with remarketers, so you're calling people, you're following up with them, you're drip campaigning with them. It's a full process of doing it right. And if you do it right, 100%, every open house, you should be able to pick up some sort of lead. Okay. Your presentations, or I'm going to say presentations. Presentations are like seminars. Okay. So seminars, presentations, things like first time home buying seminar, senior specialist seminar, how to downsize, maybe financial seminar, investing, pre-construction. Like there's tons of seminars you can be doing. And whether or not that's, through a Zoom and click on Zoom meeting, that's, I think is actually pretty productive right now. I mean, we've got, how many people? We have 64 people on right now, right? And would we have 64 people come out if it was at the new Richmond Hill office this time over? Well, we wouldn't, because it's hard to get there. You might be able to get out through more people through Zoom. Now, specifically, if you want to go face to face, which is probably great value, that's okay too. 10 people. Sometimes it's even better than 64 when you're doing a presentation, so you can go one-on-one afterwards with people. So having those seminars, those presentations to people, great idea. Face-to-face prospecting, any type of prospecting face-to-face. It could be your door knocking before your open houses. It could be just listed in an area, door knock, home evaluations in an area, door knock, like face-to-face prospecting. Number 7, calls to your Ds. We did A, Bs, and Cs. What about Ds? What about going through your list of your disruptors? Is disrupting you having 500 people on your sphere of influence list when you really only have 100, and those extra 400s are like don't knows or deletes. You're going to call them and figure out if it's a delete. If it's a delete, go through them and start deleting them. You make the phone call. They didn't know you. You didn't know them. Didn't go well. Delete them. They're not going to use you. Right? So focus on the people that do it, but you might want to do a catch up on the people. It's better than cold calling. Right? You've got 300 people at some point in time, you met them. So there was an opportunity at some point in time. We'll get through that list first before you go into telelisting and door knocking or cold calling. Working your CRM. So going through it once a month, updating, researching, adding more people, making those phone calls is a good productive time. Online seminars. Oh, I went into that with my presentations. Online seminars, same thing. Right? So whether it be online or presentations in person, another good one. And then the last one, video emails I threw in there to actually take time today just to thank somebody or do something in terms of, I'm not going to say it's as good as a handwritten note card, but I would say it's pretty far up there. I almost wonder whether or not, because you can do it so more efficiently, it might be even better to just open your phone, grab your video section on your phone, record yourself wishing somebody a happy birthday, congratulating, whatever you see on social media, and then texting it to them. Just send them the video. That's all you have to do. And it's a video email. You could do video text. Okay. Some of you have tried BombBomb in the past. I think it's fantastic. But I'll be honest. I think right now, the easiest thing for you to do is text over an email, right? Why not? I think it's very effective and productive time. Cost you 10 minutes of time, not even 2 minutes of time, And it's so effective. People think, wow, how amazing is that? So these are sort of 10 ideas for you to spend productive time that you can't pay somebody to do these things. Okay, these are non-negotiables. These are things you're going to fit within your daily. Okay, and to be honest with you, this is a lot of it, right? A lot of those productive time items are in your agent success app, and inviting neighbors to open houses. You get one conversation, you get 1 point. That's productive time, face-to-face prospecting, right? Before the open house. Great use of your time. And 100%, if anybody was to say, is it $174 to go door knocking? That's what I'm going to pay myself. Now I'm going to pay somebody else to do it. You can't. You do your business because you know the market. People are going to convert because you're talking to them. You can't pay somebody to do that. Even your buyer agents, the people with teams and buyer agents, listen, you're going to help them get to the point where they're good, but most of them aren't good the way you're good, right? You do your business because of you. Right? So don't take away from the productive time and give it to somebody else, because they will not be as productive as you will. And if you pick up a client off of an hour door knocking, is it worth $174 all day long? One client, put them into that funnel, 20,000 over the next 3 months, 170,000 over their lifespan for 1 hour of door knocking. The return on investment is huge, but don't be doing paperwork for $174 an hour. See where I'm going? So scaling and time is so important to make sure that your productive time is being productive, and then the other time is being spent leveraging the income that you make. And let's be honest, you take any one of those productive or unproductive items that you're going to pay somebody to do, and half of it comes back to you through your taxes, right? So it doesn't really cost you. Like when I go back to that $200, you can't write off your time. You don't go to CRA unless you're really creative. You don't go to CRA and say, yeah, I just paid myself $800 in order to do 4 hours worth of work. Therefore, I can write that off, right? You can't do that, right? But you can write off the $200 you paid somebody to do it, and now it only costs you $100. That's like the beauty of this. It's so important. This is why people have MBAs. They understand business. And business is all about what we're talking about today. Leveraging time and productivity and putting the right people in place. Next week or next 2 weeks, we're going to go over hiring, right? Making sure you get good people. They can be unproductive. But let's go back to that unproductive stuff. Hiring poor people. Do not hire somebody that's going to suck the negativity, disrupt you, right? And be unproductive and give poor service. And all of a sudden your people don't use you again because they were rude on the phone. That is super unproductive time, hiring ineffectively. Okay, so hiring is so important too. Time management. Okay, so what I did was I popped open my Google Calendar, and within, I don't know, this just took me an hour, right? So I put together what I thought was a pretty decent time block. And I did this through Google, do Google Calendar, click on month, right? This is for February. You can have calendars, okay? You can have calendars set up for family. For example, I set that one. I set one up for real estate, birthdays, reminders, tasks. So I had all these things in here. And what I did was I just clicked on the day that I needed to book things. And it's pretty straightforward. You do reoccurring events, right? So gym, for example, at 6 a.m. on Monday mornings. And when you click on reoccurring, it occurs every single week. You can, it says, would you like it to reoccur on Mondays at the same time every week forever? I said, yes. And a time blocked me every Monday forever, 6 a.m. gym. Then I know that every Monday, it looks like Wednesday and Friday, I'm getting to the office at 8 a.m. and I'm doing admin work. Oh, I'm doing it every day. Sorry, I did it every day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Every day is admin at the office. Every day I show up at the same time. Okay. And then I get that till let's say 10. And then I do coaching on, looks like every Monday. I do Thursdays, that in-office training that we do every Thursday. And then after the coaching, I did put prospecting in every day at 10. So I made a mistake there. I should have made 11, actually, is what I meant to do. So every day, after I do my admin, I do my prospecting, and that happens for 2 hours. And then I book myself in the afternoon in order to do maybe door knocking or not. I didn't put that in here, but I put my personal stuff in here. I put Tyler, he's got hockey at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. I've got date night with my wife on Friday night. And then I've got family day booked off for Saturday, but I do my door knocking and open houses on Sunday, right? I also book advertising once a month on the first of the month. So February 1st. So March 1st, it would be the same. And then, I took a vacation during this week, so I booked it all off. These are the things that you do on your Google Calendar as a reminder, pops up every time. It's the best way to do it. It's the only way to do it, to be honest with you. I see people using Calendly and different, systems you'll pay to use. You don't need to pay for Calendly or some of the other things. Monday is another one. It's good for certain things. Sometimes it just gets too involved. Use the simple stuff first. As soon as you got this going, then you say, yeah, I really need something to, then you look for the opportunities after. But if you just use your Google Calendar in order to time block, you're 80% getting into a routine, reminders, accountability, structure, organization. Okay. So that was a lot to do with time, how to make sure that you're leveraging your time, the cost of your time and what it's worth. Now we're going to look at return on investment, because this is money. How are you going to leverage your money in order to make you more money? And you're going to do that through certain systems. You should have a business plan for every system you have that you're spending money on. And you should be able to analyze it and calculate it and figure out whether or not you're going to leverage that and double it so that you make double the amount of money next year, and whether or not it's a solid business plan. So first of all, look at Google. You do a Google pay-per-click, you spend $5,000 doing a Google pay-per-click to your remarketer site, you generate leads. And yeah, you did a deal this year off that. So, hey, maybe if I spend 10,000 next year, I'll make 20. So you're doubling up your money. So this is a 2 times return on your investment. Not bad. You look at Facebook, you did 3,000 and you actually got 2 deals. So you're saying, well, Facebook was a little more effective. Do I double up and do 6,000 and make 33,000 next year? Right? Homes and land. Spend 10,000. I did a deal, but it was only 8. So maybe it was 1-for-1 basis. Maybe not as effective this year. These are all fictitious numbers. So don't think I don't like homes and land. Okay. Farming. You spent 9,500. You did 2-3 deals last year. Obviously, what would you do if you spend 20,000? Would you make 80? And actually, I'm going to do this as a case study right now. This is a case study as a business plan for farming. Okay. I put year 2 to start, because first year, to be honest, is a introductory year. It's a year to solidify yourself in an area, and you should really not expect anything in your first year. You're really getting your name out there. So you look at year 2 where you had income, which you spent your 95 and you made 80,000. The reason why I put 80,000 is because a good marketing plan in your farm area, a dominated plan, you should do a 10 times return on your investment. That's why people farm. Farming is very effective. So, but you need to have a good plan. So you spent 10,000 to make 80,000, which is an 8 times return. So that's okay. 1,500 now. So I doubled up, went from 750 to 1,500 homes in year. This should have said year 3. I apologize. 3, 4, 5. Sorry. And your expenses are now 19. So you doubled up and you made 160,000. Then in year 4, you spend 38 and you make 320. Year 5, you spent 76 and now you're at 740. See how you're getting up to the 10 times? Because as you do and scale up, your name gets out there even more and more. And as the time goes on, you build better relationships. You get up to the 10 times in 5 years. So this is a good idea of what a farming business plan looks like. The question is, in the first year, do you give it up? That's what most of you will ask yourself, because you spent 10,000, you didn't get a deal done maybe, or maybe you just got a few phone calls, right? Most people in the second year are going to start to reap the rewards of what you've done in the first year. So make sure your expectations are done. And so this is a scaling case study. If anybody wants to know why there is a mega agent doing 1,000 transactions and they're like number 1 on the Toronto Real Estate Board, they did not do it overnight. It took them 10 years of scaling, right? They made 20 the first year, 50 deals, right? 20 deals the first year, 50 the next year, 150 the year after, 300, 600, 1,000. That's how they did it. And they did it through scaling their business, having great service, great systems, great automation, and they paid, right? They got their name out there. Advertising works. And all of a sudden they no longer sell houses anymore. They're doing thousands. They don't sell houses. They own a company. And that company has agents underneath them, putting the systems in place, doing the automation, and taking in the information. So that's how you scale up from a Masters Award winner all the way up to a Grand Centurion and above, because you know how to scale and leverage your time through automation, good service, and money, right? So Thursday, there's a lot of information to take in. Bring your business plan, obviously your time blocking. We'll talk about how to use the Google Calendar, make sure recurring events and holding yourself accountable. I want you guys to talk about your three biggest time wasters, things that are sucking the life out of you. Okay, so how do you put systems in place to leverage your time, bring in your laptop, or go over the CRM again of more content, and help to network as well. Any questions, anything anybody has for questions or comments on all these items?